question, why haven't you lost the weight yet? What do you say? Or let's say you go to the doctor and your doctor says, hey, it'd be probably beneficial for you to lose a few pounds. What's your reaction? What do you say? Are you someone right now who you're thinking, you know what? Yes, I want to lose weight. I am more than ready. This is my time. But for some reason, week after week, it never happens. There's a lot of people who begin every year saying that this is the year they're going to lose the weight and they're going to make some changes. They're going to have a new way of looking at life. And they may get started, but a large majority of people don't. And you see this all the time. Like I've made comments where, years ago when I was consulting these health clubs, largely over 95% of the people who joined made it very, very, very clear that their reason for joining the gym was to lose weight. And unfortunately, the large majority of people don't lose weight. So they literally, think about this, they literally sign up, pay a certain amount of money to lose weight. Sometimes they hire a personal trainer, $400 a month, oftentimes more than that, and they don't lose weight. Now, many of them keep paying the $400 plus a month because they like the accountability of getting with the trainer. And I totally get that. Like I get that. Like working with the trainer, working with the nutritionist, working with someone that you can report to and they can, that's going to help you stay focused and show up. Totally get it. Same as like going to a group fitness class. Totally get it. That makes total sense. And you're to be complimented when it comes to that because at least you're going for it. You know what I mean? You have something in place that helps you show up. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the 4 things that I know block and stop people from being successful as far as losing weight and keeping the weight off. Now, for those of you who are new to me, my name is Robert Ferguson. I am America's fat loss coach, and I have been doing this. That means helping people lose weight without avoiding carbs for well over 20 years. I've written 3 books on the topic, a total of 6 books, and I've written about 7, 8 recipe cookbooks, and I've done hundreds, I probably thousands of lectures. I've been to all 50 states. I've been abroad to various countries, all with the goal of helping people upgrade their nutrition habits, lose weight, improve overall health. Okay. We have 2 evidence-based studies behind us. And again, I'm sharing all of that information with you so that I'm just not someone that shows up on Facebook or on YouTube and have an opinion. Everything that I share is evidence-based and clinically proven. However, this is an opinion. It's through my observation, these 4. And you may have some that are different. My way is not the right way, 100%. But these are things that I have observed. And I feel that if you can identify why people aren't successful, maybe you can avoid those pitfalls. It's kind of like the whole idea of knowing history so that history doesn't repeat itself. Well, here we go. Let's look into it. Let's get to it there, Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson. All right. Well, the number one reason why most people aren't able to lose weight and keep the weight off is because they have the wrong plan. Think about that. Not every plan is going to be ideal for everyone. And when I say plan, I'm referring to programs. So let's say you do keto or you do intermittent fasting or you do Weight Watchers, you do Jenny Craig. There are positives with any program out there because it comes with structure. So I'm not going to beat up on any plan. I believe they all have something positive to offer. However, if you look at a plan or if you look at a program like a bus and your goal is to get to a certain destination, you get on that bus with all the hopes in the world of getting to where you ultimately want to be, but you fall asleep and you wake up and the bus does not take you to your destination. It takes you somewhere else. Then what? This is what happens with people when they jump on board of some type of diet or weight loss plan. It doesn't always take them to their destination. And what we know scientifically and through research and major studies back to back to back to back to back is that the way you eat as you lose the weight ideally is the way you will eat after you've lost the weight. Meaning you don't go on some diet where you avoid food groups. You don't, do all these things that people are preaching when it comes to keto and paleo and some of these other diets, unless you 1000% believe that you're going to live the rest of your life like that. Okay, so the wrong plan, I don't have a whole bunch of ideas to share with you. All I know is that our plan is effective and it works. And that kind of moves us to the second thing I want to share with you, because once someone knows how it works, one of the biggest roadblocks for people who want to lose weight is lack of humility. Okay. I see this with athletes. I've seen it for years. Lack of humility. So many people don't have the inner wit or power or confidence or self-esteem or availability to ask questions or to ask for help. And that's a sign to me of a lack of humility. My favorite book says that pride comes before the fall. And that's so true when it comes to an area like this. If you want to lose weight, surrender and work with someone who's going to guide you. And I can say that out loud because that's what I do. And that's what I encourage coaches that I've mentored and trained to do, is to be there for someone and to support them, be that crutch, be that lift, be that fuel that's going to help them get to where they need to be, so they don't need the crutch. They don't need any fuel. They become self-empowered, because weight loss, in my opinion, is an inside job. If you don't get it working on the inside, I'm talking mentally, emotionally, then it's probably not going to work for the long term. So lack of humility blocks many people. Before I got into the space of weight loss, I spent a significant amount of my time helping women experience restoration with their lives after being stalked, after being molested, after being in a domestic violence relationship. And I say this because my work was in rape awareness and prevention. The very first book I ever wrote was titled A Guide to Rape Awareness and Prevention. And one of the things that I noticed in that space, and I see the same thing when it comes to weight loss, and we're talking women, in my experience, I've done this to a really high level, okay, with the rape prevention as well as the weight loss. What I continue to see is that they don't ask questions. They don't ask for help when they need it, when there's a lack of humility. Stay humble. Being humble is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength, because most of us in life don't know. I know when I became a parent, I read the books, I heard, from other people, I watched the videos, but I don't believe there's anything that can prepare you 100% for being a parent, because every kid, every environment, every situation is going to be unique. It's extremely dynamic. And we must learn to roll with it and just do the best that we can. And I know that when you do the best that you can with what you are aware of and what you know and what you're capable of, then that's good enough. I mean, nobody's going to live the perfect life. It just is what it is. However, when it comes to nutrition, weight loss, fitness, stay humble. It's okay to do what is going to serve your best interests, and not solely living your life and making decisions based on making everybody else happy. Easier said than done, but it's true. The third thing I want to bring up, so let's say that you got the right plan, and let's say that you are humble. Okay, what's going to stop you from being successful, both in losing the weight and keeping the weight off? Well, this is a big one. It's a big one. It's called diet mentality. Diet mentality. So what is a diet mentality? A diet mentality, it can be best explained when you look at someone who has a prison mentality or a slave mentality. Harriet Tubman, who's known for saving many people's lives, helping slaves get out of slavery when we had slavery. She was Moses, right? She's known for her work with the Underground Railroad. Well, she was once quoted for saying, "If I could have convinced," remember that word, "if I could have convinced more slaves that they were slaves, I could have freed thousands more." So what I lock in on is the word convince. See, you can't convince someone who's not open to receiving it. You will have family members who won't hear you, even though you may be extremely successful with your weight loss and your improvement with your health. And you'll be trying to talk them into it and like sharing with them and debating, almost like politics and religion. I don't spend my time attempting to convince anybody. You lay it out in front of them, and if it makes sense for them, they'll go for it. Well, people with the diet mentality fall prey to this because they would rather be right than to get better outcomes. So for them, if they didn't discover what you're excited about, it's not going to resonate with them. And it's really sad. It's unfortunate because these are the same people who will put themselves in jail mentally. They will put themselves in a place where the diet mentality thrives because that's where they are. It's hard to break out of the diet mentality. It is very, very difficult. You can see that with people who step on the scale constantly. And these people, it's kind of like the guy who gets out of prison and he wants to be clean and he wants to stay safe and he doesn't want to get in trouble. He doesn't want to go back again. But the next thing you know, he's back hanging with the wrong people. It's like people, diet mentality, they want a lifestyle where they don't have to diet again. It makes total sense not to diet again. But they see their friend do a diet and they get caught up in the shininess. It's kind of like the guy that gets out of prison. He sees his friends and they're driving the new car and they got the new watch. He gets caught up in the shininess. The diet mentality is tough, man. It's tough. And that's why, like with Diet Free Life, we're so big on freedom. Like if there was one word with Diet Free Life compared to all the other weight loss programs and plans, I would say that what makes us unique and different is this thing called freedom. But I know you cannot help everybody. You can't. There are some people that it's like the woman in an abusive relationship. She's just going to be in that abusive relationship. That's just the mentality. That's just where she is. And a lot of us will go, I don't understand why she don't leave. Why, I mean, what's the deal? It's a mentality. It's self-esteem. It's self-respect. It's an inside job. And the diet mentality is a tough one to break. I've watched people break it, but I've seen more people not break it, unfortunately. Okay, now, the fourth one I've talked about is the 3 C's. And this is really how you ensure that you're successful, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're working with, no matter what the plan is. And that is, number one, you want to be consistent. So when it comes to exercise, how can you be consistent? And that's tough. That is a tough one because we allow people, we allow relationships, we allow circumstances to block us from being consistent. So consistent would be like I'm doing the Killer Body Challenge. And if you had asked me before the Killer Body Challenge, how many days a week do I work out? I go, I would love to work out 6 days a week. I really would. And not just for weight loss, but because of how I feel. And I like working out, right? I like how I feel after I do it. I like not just for my body, but it's for my mind, my energy, right? But I wasn't working out 6 days a week. Well, by tapping into structure like this challenge, the challenge says 6 days a week and rest on Sunday. Well, I'm going to follow the challenge and I'm following it and I'm loving it. The same as it's helping other people, it's helping me because it's helping me have the consistency that will breed the outcomes that I want. So consistency is very important. And many people will not lose the weight and keep it off is because many of their habits that are helping them will not be habits that they can be consistent with. And this when you go back and I talk to people about the Diet Free Life methodology, right? And I say, well, if you're able to eat the foods that you love and eat them when you want them, but because you've learned how to combine foods and you understand how to proportion your foods as you combine them in a way that makes them a fat burning meal, that's what we call these meals, then I'm not feeling deprived. I'm not feeling restricted, right? I'm not avoiding any food groups. So why would I not be consistent with this? But there are some people who aren't consistent and they go from day to day, week to week. It changes. And because of that lack of consistency, that's where they're gonna get upset with themselves. They're gonna get frustrated. They're gonna get to this place where like the weight's not coming off fast enough, and then they just feel like the program is not for them. And there's probably a whole bunch of other things in their life that's blocking that, right? If you're in a horrible marriage, that's not going to make it easy unless you know that marriage is over and that you're getting in shape because you know that you want something better. You want a better life, maybe a new relationship one day after you get out of that relationship. It may be your surroundings. You may be around a lot of negative people, people that are eating foods that you really want to eat, but you are trying to not eat them, and that can drive you absolutely crazy. So it makes it difficult for you to be consistent, right? You may want to go work out and be consistent, but your spouse or a good friend blocks you or interferes with you. Or you're wanting to love and be kind and have grace for everybody else. And your friend now, they want to work out with you, go for a walk with you, but they walk at a different pace. They're not at your fitness level. So you can't push yourself the way you would like to because you want to be there as an anchor for them. I don't know. But consistency can be tough. And here's a principle that I'll share with you that I believe can help you. I've shared this many times in my life. I believe this, I live this, and that is anytime you want to improve any part of your life, opposition shows up, adversity. Okay. It's going to show up because you want to improve. It's like the law of attraction. And it's you continuing to be consistent and working through the challenges of what's attempting to kind of throw you off track. Okay, so consistency. And then the second C is comfortability. When I went into the Marine Corps, I'll never forget, we would be in the Marine Corps, you guys. And in the Marine Corps, when we were like signing up, or like going through the initial stages when you get to boot camp, they would have us sitting on the ground, you know, because you're getting your shots and you're getting like certain paperwork. And so they didn't have chairs, and there's a whole bunch of us Marines. So we would sit down and have our legs crossed. Well, you know, it's one thing to have your legs crossed and you do yoga, but it's another thing when you don't do that and you're sitting down and it's hot out. And it's like you're frustrated and your legs are starting to like, you know, jam up on you, and it's very uncomfortable. And I remember like being in the line going, oh, the pain. And the drill instructor looked at me. He says, you think that's pain? No, that's discomfort. So discomfort and pain are two different things. Okay. None of us want discomfort, but sometimes through discomfort, you get the results you want. It's kind of like you want to be uncomfortable, right? Do the things that aren't easy for you. And that's when you'll start to see some of the better results, right? So if I love being on the spinning bike, on the spinning bike, can't wait to get on the spinning bike, stationary bike, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, never on Sunday, right? Okay. You're comfortable. And guess what? You're probably going to get some results, and yes, you like it, but you're not going to get the results you really want because you want to do the things sometimes that are uncomfortable, that challenge you, that push you in a way that's not fun in order to get the results that you want. And I'm not saying you got to be out there like Rocky. I'm not saying you got to carry logs on your back. I'm not saying that you have to like give up your life and go to the hood where you're scared to get out of the car just to get a workout in. I'm just saying uncomfortable or comfortability. There's a lot to be understood in that area. But it leads us to the third C, and that's change. So here's what I would recommend for everybody. And I did this for 3 people that were doing keto. They consulted me a couple years ago. They're doing scientific keto. And I said, okay, if you're going to do this, then do it right. So I helped them out and gave them the guidelines for scientific keto. And then I said, I want you to measure and track your body composition. And they were like, okay, what do you mean? I said, well, since you're going to do keto, let's do your weight. So we know what your weight is in the beginning. Let's, figure out your body fat percentage. So we have that as a baseline. Let's measure your waist. Let's look at your glucose levels, right? So we create a baseline. So that's what we're measuring. And to track it means that there's a follow-up, right? So if day 1, we measure your numbers. On day 8, we're going to measure your numbers again. That's tracking. Now, if the numbers are going in the right direction, let's say you're losing weight and the bulk of the weight that you're losing is fat. You feel good, clarity's there, then measure, we track, everything is working out. So you keep doing what's working. If it's not working, then you change, you modify, you pivot, right? But if you're not measuring and tracking, what the hell are you doing? You don't know if it's working or not. And then a lot of people only measure the scale weight, and they're not looking at the body composition. They're not looking at their waist. They're not looking at your glucose. All of that being said, when you measure and you track, if it's working, you keep doing what you're doing. If it's not, you change. Well, with all 3 of these women who were doing keto, when they measured and tracked, they lost weight, but it was the wrong weight. The majority of the weight they were losing was muscle, bone, and water. They each had their own device to do this. And I'm basing all of this based on body fat percentage. And each and every week, the majority of their weight loss on the scale was muscle, bone, and water. Well, if you're losing muscle, bone, and water, that may not make sense or mean anything to you at this moment as I'm sharing this. But you're damaging your metabolism. You're slowing your ability to burn calories naturally throughout the day. Everything is thrown off. And then we create this disturbance with your microbiome, right? Your gut bacteria, where it's now disrupted. Because the thing that's going to help that thrive is you consuming certain things. So it's not that you ate a lot of fat and a lot of meat. It's what you didn't eat that sets these people up for problems. And so the last 10 gastroenterologists that I've talked to, I asked each one of them point blank. I said, do you endorse the keto diet? And if you do or don't, do you know any other gastroenterologists that do endorse it? And all 10 of them says, no, we don't endorse it. And we don't know any gastroenterologists that do. Now, these are the people who are like looking at the colon all day, every day, your intestinal tract. Well, a lot of the physicians that do endorse and give it the thumbs up, they're not gastroenterologists. They're like a family physician or maybe a heart, specialist. They're not looking at the damage taking place with the colon. They're not looking at the lack of diversity that's taking place inside the microbiome. Well, if someone is, I'm going to listen to them because they can see it. You know what I mean? Like if you ask a gastroenterologist what takes place when you consume alcohol every night, they'll tell you certain things that'll make you not want to drink alcohol every night, as far as the damage that can take place with your microbiome. So I say all of that, you guys, to kind of give you an additional perspective on how you can lose weight without avoiding carbs and keep it off. Well, of course, we have a program. That's what we do. And it works. I've never met a person that it didn't work for. I've only met people who didn't want it to work. That means they gave up on themselves, because I don't give up on people. You know what I mean? Like, they would have to give up on themselves, because it's not going to be me. Now, I've fired clients where I said, you know what, it's not a good fit, because maybe I don't like their attitude. I don't like their energy. I don't like who I have to deal with. And I don't look forward to talking to them on the phone or talking to them on the computer. So I don't want to have a relationship with people like that, whether they're paying top dollar or not. I want to work with people who I'm excited to have a conversation with. Okay, so I've shared a lot of information. And this is information that I believe that, when you dig into it, it can help you. What's up, Cindy? Thank you. What's up, Dwayne? My man, Dwayne Moore. We spent some time in the backfield playing football back in the day. And I'll be very soon visiting Indiana. And first place I'm going, Pizza King. Yes, I'm in the challenge. But you know what? I'm just going to have to change the rules. Okay, I'm just kidding. Oh, okay. Anyway. Hopefully that helps. So what would be the take home? My take home for you would be stay humble, be open-minded, and believe. Have faith that it will work out. And this is something that can help all people at all ages. We all have an opportunity to live our healthiest life. And if you've battled with your weight, if you're in the middle of the struggle now, it's not your fault. It really isn't. We are up against an abundance of information, and a whole bunch of people come across really smart and wise. I may be coming across wise at times, and it may make sense. But you know what? I could put you on the phone with hundreds of people, and they can tell you what their results are like. And that's why I'm going to start having real clients, current clients, come on and just have a conversation so you can hear from them how we're able to turn things around. In closing, this morning I had a lady who I'm going to have on here really soon. Her name is Betsy. Big shout out to you, Betsy. Betsy, her blood glucose was way up there, like really high. She did not want to be on medication. And right at the time when she was ready to do something, she saw me post and talk about our over 40 program for men and women. And she noticed that I was talking a lot about the microbiome, and I was specifically talking about blood glucose, reversing type 2 diabetes, and all that goes with that. She came on board. She had stopped taking metformin. Her blood glucose levels were like really high. So when I say really high, like 278. And that's high. So anyone who's a physician, anyone who understands what I'm talking about, they know that's high. And I saw strength in her that she wanted to make this work. And so I was like, let's go. Because think about it. If I didn't work with her, what would she have done? If I do work with her, what can we do? And just thinking like that, I was like, she has the right mindset, the right energy. I feel this woman is willing and able to like do the work. And this is not avoiding carbs. We did the work. And she dropped her glucose numbers significantly. We're moving to the 120s right now, naturally, without avoiding carbs. That's powerful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because all things are possible. If I had told someone that in 3 months, we could lower your fasting glucose by 171 points, would the average person believe me? If I said, hey, in 30 days, I know we can drop 2 inches off your waist, but up to maybe 5 inches off your waist inside of 30 days without avoiding carbs, who's going to believe that? If I told you that you could lose a significant amount of weight, whatever that weight number is, you come up with one in a certain period of time without avoiding carbs, who's going to believe that? it's going to be tough to believe it because there's an overwhelming amount of people that don't know. They don't know this. And there's someone on Facebook or YouTube, they're watching and they hear it, but they still have a hard time getting it because it goes against conventional wisdom. Right? So when I watch these different doctors on YouTube and people send me like, this doctor and that doctor making this statement and that statement saying you can't lose weight eating the way we have people eat. I'm sorry, but that's why we're going to start having people on, because people need to know what we do and how this works. I want everybody to know. And so it's time to go ground zero back to the people. So we live in a world today where everyone has platforms, and this is a platform. So the goal is to inspire and to encourage people to live their healthiest and best life. And we're going to do that. We're going to share information. I have the podcast that I do with Barbara, the Stay Healthy Experience. We're going to continue to do what we do there. So check that out when you get a chance. And then at the same time, I'm going to start bringing on people who are clients. And I'm going to start bringing on coaches who are successfully helping people as a coach that has learned the Diet Free Life methodology, and they're certified with our method to help more people. Boom. All right. I'm done. It's time to get ready for another show. Thank you guys for listening in. I appreciate you. And if you caught the tail end of this, listen to the whole thing. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, like, comment, share, put us in front of more people so that we can help and inspire more people to live their healthiest and best life. I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you for your time, you guys. Be well. And until the next